Can I be honest with you about something for a second? I've spent the last 4 hours playing through this game a second time in flat screen mode with the express purpose of mopping up all the collectibles that I missed so I can get the secret ending, and I gotta tell ya, it's not that much less broken than the VR version. In fact, in some ways, it might actually be worse. First of all, the game is clearly built for VR. Like, very obviously, so many things in this game are designed with the understanding that the player will be able to physically interact with them with their hands and not fumble with a stupid controller. Case in point, the stupid power generator minigames where you have to rotate the hexagon pillars to get goo to flow from one side to the next. That definitely is not designed to be played with a controller. That is designed to be played in virtual reality. But even putting things like that aside, there are some bugs. And by that, there are a lot of bugs in this game. For one thing, the controller just never stops vibrating. For extended periods of time, my controller just would not stop vibrating. Even when nothing was happening, it would just keep going to the point where my hands actually got numb. Now, I could have turned off vibration. I know that. However, I kept it on because I wanted to see just how bad it would get. And yeah, got real bad. Got real bad real fast. There's also the thing with the power generator goo minigame is that I still don't understand how you're actually supposed to activate the switch. You grab onto the switch with R2, and then I move the right stick around like I do for every other interactable lever or button or whatever in this game, but it doesn't do anything. Eventually you find the one very specific angle that you're allowed to pull the stick to that will actually accomplish something, but finding that is a hassle and a half. In fact, sometimes you don't even need to pull the right stick to activate it, because sometimes it'll just fucking pour out on its own. That's really fun. It was very fucking cool when I was doing the Big Top Showtime thing, which I already hated, by the way. But at least the mannequin portion of it was more manageable in flat screen mode. But when it came time to do the power generator minigame, oh boy, that got so much worse with a standard controller. Not even just because the controls by default are worse with a controller, but because I cannot tell you the amount of times I am working toward a solution, I'm almost there, I almost have it, but there's just one or two panels that I haven't rotated into place yet, and even though I'm not touching the lever that you would have to pull to activate the goo, doesn't matter to this game, it'll just decide, you know what, actually I think you do want the goo to pour out, and it'll just start going, and you can't flip the panels around in time to outrace the goo, so it fails, closes up the panel, resets everything from scratch, and naturally you lose because you don't have enough time to fix everything before the stupid music man gets you. That's really not fun. Like, that's astoundingly unfun, actually. The Chica section? The Chica office section by itself is already kind of annoying because of the way it's laid out. It's like there's one linear hallway that you have to go through. It's not an open-ended room. There is one linear path that every player is forced to take to get from point A to point B, and it just so happens that Chica spawns into the room in the middle of this path, so you basically have to force her to come to you and then slowly follow her to get out of the room. But the problem is that when you follow closely behind her, even if you aren't touching any of the cupcakes, which are already have incredibly sensitive hitboxes or detection radiuses, even if you aren't touching any of them and they don't make any noise, sometimes, for really no reason at all, she'll just decide, you know what, I feel like turning around for no reason. And then she sees you and then she kills you. Got real sick of that. But honestly, it all pales in comparison to what I had to go through to get David's stupid fucking toy ball down in the basement with the moon thing. So, first problem. I already had a solid path from beginning to end with only 2 of the panels. I didn't need the other 2. I didn't need all 4. I was good with just the first 2. But for some reason, even though it shouldn't logically make any sense that there being 2 panels missing which are in no way connected to the power source of this generator, It shouldn't make any sense that that should have any impact on whether or not goo is allowed to flow through the machine. Apparently it does. So I'm still forced to get the other two anyway, which is really annoying because on my way back from getting the third panel, I died and I respawned, and when I went to go back and get the Luma from the panel where I last left it, even though clearly the game thinks the Luma is still there, because you see the lights on the floor projecting outward as if the Luma is still there. The room around you is lit up as if the Luma is still there, because ordinarily when you remove a Luma from the pedestal, the room around you goes dark. Even though all that was the case, the Luma itself wasn't physically there. Or if it was physically there, it wasn't visible, which means I couldn't pick it up, which means I didn't have anything to take with me into the next section, and I just had to fumble around in the dark. That was really fun, but not quite as fun as after I finally escaped the hell pit. I got the collectible, I got his dumb fucking ball, I put it in the inventory machine, and I went on to go get the next collectible, died on the way there, which was on me. That was on me. That was not the game's fault. I died there. That's on me. But what's not on me is, even though I beat the section in the basement, got the collectible, I had proof of my efforts, I had a reward to show for it, and I deposited that reward in the inventory. Apparently the game doesn't save when you do any of those things, because I got sent all the way back down to the basement before I got the collectible and had to redo all of it over again. And then, as the cherry on top of all this bullshit, when I respawned, the elevator didn't work. Even though the Luma was right there, it was in the pedestal that powers up the elevator, the game didn't seem to acknowledge this fact, because when I tried to push the button, it told me to go fuck myself. So I had to just take it out of the pedestal and put it back in for some reason, and even then, trying to open the elevator door was a hassle, because I pushed the button once and it just closed immediately afterwards. So it just, my point is, this game is not polished at all, even in flat screen mode. It's still kind of a pain in the ass to play. And to be honest with you, I'm a little sick of this game. Even ignoring all of the messiness. I'm realizing how much the game's quality ebbs and flows. Because the opening section is really solid. Jackie's chase sucks. The big top section has a good initial reveal with the mannequins, but the actual gameplay is not great. Whether you play it in VR or in flat screen mode, one way or the other, it sucks. Either the mannequin part sucks, or the power generator part sucks, depending on which version of the game you're playing in. And then the chase is horrible too. Getting to build a Springlock suit, that's a really cool moment. It's a nice reward for longtime FNAF fans. The crane game is a nice little puzzle, but everything takes way too long to do. The stage play thing is just bizarre. Dolly's section has a really good reveal where you see her you see her boots strapped to the thing, but the rest of her has been torn off of it. But then it's just this game does a lot of collecting a bunch of objects from an area while stealthing around. It does that a lot, and I'm grown very, very numb to all of it. So the game ebbs and flows. I'm starting to realize that my overwhelmingly positive reaction stemmed in no small part from the third act. The third act is spectacular, but even then, the whole section in Murray's Manor is just another case of collect all the things. But at least there it does feel like a proper test of all that you've learned up until this point, using all the mechanics, and you get more story bits while you're doing it. So it kind of sets itself apart from the rest. But my point is just, I'm kind of sick of this game. I'm a little overplaying it. And after everything I just went through in flat screen mode, trying to get my hands on all the missing collectibles, I'm gonna tell you right now, the payoff for this secret ending better be incredible. It better give me the same type of emotional reaction that Help Wanted 2's bonus ending. Well, I say bonus ending. I guess technically the ending that I really went nuts for in that game, I think was actually technically the bad ending, or like the normal default ending. I think I accidentally got the secret ending first, but my point is there better be an actual payoff for all this, and not something lame, because I'm gonna be really fucking annoyed if this all is just a colossal waste of time, because this has not been an enjoyable experience in the slightest. Also, it turns out It actually is not any less apparent in flat screen mode that all of the windows are just JPEGs. It's obvious in both modes. This, by the way, is also why I'm not playing in VR for this. I said I was originally gonna switch back to VR after I got all the collectibles to get the actual ending itself. But at this point, I kind of just can't be fucked, to be honest with you. I'm kind of just seeing this through to the end because I said that I would. And I just kind of want to get this over with, so we're sticking in flat screen mode. VR mode is the thing that's broken. The flat screen is great. Flat screen mode is great. Oh, I've also seen the Mimic literally fucking teleport directly in front of me. I've also seen a bit of that. Alright, we did it. We got all the collectibles. Now, let's finally check out this Moon.exe thing. Run Moon.exe. 25 out of 25. Here we go. Oh,
Come to the security office, then you can go home.
shut up. So the first thing I want to check. Does opening the closet still kill me? I'm assuming no, because now it's highlighted orange, which I assume is in coordination or in sync with the fact that we have more collectibles. So let's hope this, because last time opening the closet was just an instant death sentence. Hedgehog Halloween mask. This can fool anybody. You take the mask. Okay. I guess that.
Don't forget to come to the security
Shut.
office, then you
I'm
can go
literally right here. I just don't care about you. In fact, I'm gonna mute my TV. Just so I don't have to listen to him prattle on. You'll still hear him, but I'll be spared. I will be spared from the dispatch's incessant prattling on. Alright, so what all is here now? We can put on the hedgehog mask. What's in the toy box now? You find a Sharpay plushie inside. Well, I'll be taking that. Just to have no reason not to have it, right? You find a small key inside. Oh. Can we use this on the bedroom door?
Head back to the security office.
Or maybe the window? Open window. You unlock the window with a small key. Brrr. It's cold outside. Do we leave? I mean, we can always come back, right? In case if we're missing something. Wearing the hedgehog mask, you climb out the window. I left a whole lot of stuff back there. Okay, yeah, I can. Should I need to, I can in fact enter the house again. Yeah, this is totally Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, by the way.
Don't forget to come to the security
Examine
office,
nest.
then you can go
Is
home.
Chica laying an egg? No, but she is laying a party time cup. Alright. I assume we have an unlimited inventory. So I'll just take everything we find. There's no reason not to. Now where can we go out here? Outside your house, there's a scary tree and a path running east and west. Let's see. Oh dear. Do I want to go in there? I'm not sure I want to go in there. Ooh, pick up Star Orphan
Don't forget
Nightlight.
to come to the security office, then you can go home.
A Star Orphan Nightlight, it takes the firelight and burns forever. I feel like we'll die if we go into that cave. You stand in front of a dark, scary cave with a campfire out front. Above the fire is a bubbling cauldron that holds an odd-smelling soup. Put soup in cup. Yeah, I don't know if we want to eat the strange soup. That seems like a easy way to die. Maybe we just hold on to it as a surprise so that'll help us later. You pour the soup into the cup. It's warm in your hands.
Check in soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we don't go in there. Oh my goodness. A forest path leads deeper into the night, but it's blocked by a gator who is trying to eat a baby owl. Throw soup at the gator? Fuck yes. Throw soup at the alligator. You throw the Chica cup at the gator, he eats it and dies? Oh? Oh? I mean, that wasn't the intended plan, but I thought you would, like, we would throw it at him to piss him off and get him to fuck off. Not, we would, like, force feed him the fucking soup. A forest path leads deeper into the night. A very happy baby owl. Hootie? Hootie? Has Hootie come to save me from this game's cringe? You walk up and examine the oak tree. Oh god, has been stabbed? The oak tree groans. It seems to be in pain. Looks like a knife is sticking out of the side. Well, I feel like we don't want to... Well, I guess trees don't bleed. Ordinarily, you want to leave these things in so the blood does... You don't bleed out, but I guess a tree doesn't bleed, so... We'll take it out. Yay, it's happy now. We made the tree happy. Happy tree is happy.
You're almost done.
Alright, I think we should probably explore all the areas here, but before we go into the cave or further down the path, we should probably explore all of the cursory areas here. Enter the house again, examine bushes, break tree branch, use ranger knife on branch? Oh, is it? Oh wait, it's like to make the nest fall or something? Voice crack? You saw the branch off with your knife, you now have a walking stick. Oh, that's... I didn't realize that was the...
Is everything okay?
I didn't realize that was the end game objective there. Let's just, carry on. You take the path deeper into the forest. Deeper in the forest, there's a ruined statue of a wedding couple. Ah. So,
Don't forget to come to the
by
security
wedding
office,
couple, do you
then
mean
can go
like
home.
an Edwin and Fiona statue? I assume we're playing as David here. I assume that's... I mean, we don't really have any further context for what exactly we're doing here, but my shot-in-the-dark guess... Because the one lingering... Like, the parachute ending was kind of all focused around Fiona and Edwin, and the idea that... The idea that Edwin's parental neglect ended up causing his own death, because the mimic was mimicking that. That's simultaneously genius and tragic, but it was also mainly focused on the adults more so than the kid. We didn't really get to know a whole lot about the kid, so I assume maybe this is kind of more filling in the gaps here by going down this Moon.exe route. Don't know. Let's see. Look at statues. Statues of a man and a woman taking their wedding vows. A fire blackens the woman's statue. The man has a bow tie that looks weirdly out of place, like someone had stuck one on the statue. I guess we'll take the bow tie if we can. If you have a bottomless inventory, there's no reason not to just take literally everything all the time. I think the implication is that Fiona died at a fire that engulfed the Fall Fest. Again, it's been a while since I've played Help 1, and I don't remember what the lore was behind what happened to the Fall Fest. But I do know that the Foxy in that game, like, all the characters were on fire at a certain point, right? Like, you could see the secret passageways you could take down the Foxy pirate ride minigame. You would see a lot of the animatronics on fire, or in the corn maze especially. Or maybe not that they were on fire, but that they were just glowing a lot. But I don't know. I imagine it might be fire centric, since the whole thing is that the place. Oh, actually, wait. Well, wasn't there something in Help 1 and 2 about the Fall Fest? Because I know that in order to get the secret ending, or to get all the plushies, you had to, like, burn down. You had to. It was the Carnival Barker thing that we had to, like, accomplish a series of objectives to create a Rube Goldberg machine to burn the place down. So I'm wondering if I don't know if that was the Fall Fest, but I think aesthetically it reminded me of the Fall Fest. So maybe that fire ties into what happened here, like Fiona died in a fire in the Fall Fest. I know I could just be talking out my ass right now, but let's examine toy pirate ship, catch fish. Oh, that's what the... Oh, I thought it was just a plush Foxy thing, not a pirate ship. It was a Foxy puppet steering the ship. Okay, so it is a Foxy plush. It's just on a ship. I'll be taking that. I'm assuming that the main things of interest here are the ones that are highlighted orange. If we need to interact with any of the other things, we can always come back later. The ruins of a quaint little seamstress shop. A large loom sits in the corner, surrounded by loom. There's a sewing kit near the loom. Sure. That at least I know we got. I know we got the sewing kit. That was one of the collectibles we picked up along the way. There's a very steep path leading into the mountains next to a sign and a hollow stump. What's in the hollow stump? Another one of our collectibles, I assume? Mm-hmm. Swing bee honey bottle. That belongs to me now. Oh, use walking stick on path. Oh, we're literally gonna use it as a walking stick. Oh, I didn't think we need it. I mean, I guess it makes sense that we could use it, but I just didn't foresee us literally. Well, I guess we are, if I'm correct in that we're playing as a kid, then I guess it does make sense that you would need a little bit of extra help to get up here. You come across a broken down cabin in the woods. There's a bear sitting on the front porch swing. Oh, that's we could poke the bear. That feels like a fast track to death. But yeah, I think just gonna give Winnie the Pooh some honey. You throw the honey bottle at the bear, it takes the honey and heads off into the woods. I wouldn't have thrown it at him, because that might just make him more angry. But hey, if it works, it works. If it works, it works. You open the door and head inside the cabin. Inside the cabin, you see an old woman standing next to an oven. Strange masks line the walls. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't... Oh, and she has a pizza maker oven here that she definitely won't use to cook me alive. My name is Sun, the old woman says. Come with me. She then motions you over to her workbench.
Check in soon.
You must fix these 3 masks. They will give you a great reward. How exactly do I do that? I guess we can use the sewing kit, right? Maybe? Use fox puppet. Oh. Oh. You pull the left eye out of the Foxy puppet and place it in the mask. Foxy rolls the eye and grins. That looks like that looked like if Foxy was corrupted by a clicker from The Last of Us or something. Use bow tie on mask. I see. I see the vision now. Fix rabbit mask. They have names, you know. Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie. You use the sewing kit to fix the rabbit mask. The rabbit smiles and thanks you. Maybe they won't kill us now. I think we did it.
Don't forget to come to the
We done
security
diddly did
office,
it.
and you can go home.
Baby owl mask. Oh. Oh, okay. I'm guessing we wouldn't... Okay, so I guess my instincts were correct to not go into the cave earlier. But no, shit. I accidentally hit circle. I don't know how much of my progress I just lost. Hopefully not much. Note to self. Don't ever accidentally hit the circle button. You might have to redo a bunch of shit. Put on baby owl mask. And then we enter the cave. The Cave of Wonders. Filled with treasures beyond your wildest dreams. Ooh, a choice. Left, middle, right. Let's start in the middle. Use toy hammer on large crystal. Don't know how much that'll do. You smash the large crystal and it breaks apart. Inside is the left arm of a statue. Oh. What, are we, Are you trying to say that we are putting the pieces back together?
What's taking so long?
Open small door. Oh, there is a door there. I didn't see that. You duck inside a strange tiny door in the far wall. Left, right, left. That's obviously going to be a code or something later. Yeah, we're totally doing a put the pieces back together type thing. Oh my goodness, it's the Goonies. An ancient pirate ship lay stranded inside a giant cave. How did it get in here? Fucked if I know, but I do know that there was conspicuously a giant pirate ship floating in the lagoon at the Fall Fest of 1983 that we saw in Help Wanted's Curse of Dreadbear DLC. Whatever that's worth. What's behind? There's gotta be something behind the waterfall. Examine treasure chests. Is this gonna be where the directions come into play? It's like a traditional lock thing. Yeah, okay. Aha! And finally, the moon head is placed on the statue. And so the pieces have been put back together. Oh, that was a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be. The moon statue sings and is reborn. It glows and glows until you know nothing but white. That's green, but I'll take it anyway. Oh. Oh dear. Oh no. We're in the costume manor now. Uh-oh. You wake up in a darkened room with red lighting. You're surrounded by strange animatronics. Okay. Not quite the direction I saw this going. I thought it was solely gonna be an abstract metaphorical thing. I didn't realize we were gonna be literally exploring the costume manor in here. Or are we just gonna be running through the events of the game again? Because we start with Jackie. Trap Jackie in the rainy day boot. That works. Sure. I guess that's how that works. Hey, those are the ones we got today. His third birthday present. Inside are a set of children's blocks that spell David. I guess that's a wrap for now. We going to Big Top next? We sure are. So we are literally just running through the events of the game. That dumb fucking ball that I spent way too much time of my life trying to obtain. Doll Hospital's next. Yep, Doll Hospital is next. Well, I guess now a lot of the things we've been collecting over the course of the game make a lot more sense as to why we were getting them. Yeah, I did not expect this would be the direction that this little bonus minigame takes. You fixed my dollies. My work is done. She then leaves the Doll Hospital happy forevermore. It almost kind of feels like a happiest day type thing as well. Like we're going around to all the different characters and kind of giving them what they want, fixing them up, putting the pieces back together. Oh wait, Chica's up next. Which, I mean, if it is meant to kind of parallel the happiest day, I guess that would also explain the whole Chica's party world thing. She's blocking the way out. Well, fortunately for us, we have a birthday cake to give her. She hugs the cake to her, and they both laugh happily. They leave, loved forevermore. Oh, let's not leave. Better not leave without getting our birthday presents. This thing.
Is everything okay?
So, we saw the picture of David holding the white tiger. I didn't really think about this until now, but I assume it's safe to conclude that David is the one who's possessing. It would explain why we heard childlike voices every time this thing appeared. It was always a childlike voice that would come over the speakers. So I'm assuming David's the one who's possessing this thing, like, because it was his favorite toy.
Head back to the security office.
I guess that makes sense. Climbing up the stairs. Where to next? Back where we started. You enter a child's bedroom. 3 different toy boxes sit in the center, and a storybook is open on the bed. Sure, read storybook. He bounced the moon, spelled his name in the stars, and ran through the snow with a silent hunter.
Don't forget to
So,
come to the
ball
security
goes in the
office.
moon
You
box,
can go home.
blocks into the star box, and the tiger into the snow box. You place the toys in the correct boxes, and the closet door opens. Don't know if I
Forget to
trust
come to the
this, but
security
sure.
office. Then you can go home.
There's a strange machine in the closet. That looks like an upgrade station for the day-to-day. Ooh, is there a secret 7th? Oh, it's just literally this again. Oh god. We'll also say this much. This is significantly easier. No, I mean, we knew it was going to be, but this is like a billion times easier when you don't have to fumble with the VR.
Check in soon.
Success! Hi. The sun appears. She comes in from the sky and smiles. You have found my presence. You have completed my tasks. Now you will get your reward. Use this to bring him back. It's all in your hands now. Take glitched permission. Ooh, boy. The glitch permission is yours. Use it wisely. Oh, that's... Oh, wait, no. No, 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 no. You know what it is? Oh, wait. That's what the fucking weird glitchy panels were, right? Because we saw those doors around the place that had a permission, like a symbol that we hadn't seen before. But that's probably what that was. That was the glitch permission. Now we'll be able to get behind those doors and see, okay, alright. I'll play through this last act of the game, and then I'll catch up with you guys once we get back to the manor. Alright, we made it back to the manor. Oh, wow. That's a yikes for me. Literally just right there. Thankfully, he, did not see me. Oh my god, he saw me. Or, wait, he didn't? Hello? Excuse me? You good, bro? So, do we not need to get the reels anymore? I'm not actually sure. We may only need to go into... First, let me check. I don't know where all the doors are. I know that there's a good chunk of them upstairs and on that other side of the house. Is that one right there? Yeah, okay. Our first glitch door is right here. Is my theory correct? It sure is. Okay. What secrets await us? Bedtime Story. Where do we put this? Can we put this in here? Oh wait, here maybe? No. Before we do anything else down here, before we try to get any of the other ones, let me see. Where am I even supposed to use these things? Well, the good news is most of the things are up here. I think there might only be 2 downstairs, so if we just keep him downstairs, we should be fine. But where's the actual thing we play these in? I can only assume that one of these doors must have whatever I need to play these things. Oh. Well, there's an audio log here, at least.
For the last time, no, it wouldn't be him. Oh, who am I kidding? You're not really you. Oh, I've been so stupid.
Edwin, calm down and give it some thought. Try again. Make another, and we can all be together.
All this time wasted? I should have been having fun with him, playing games and teaching him how to make things. But I didn't. You. I let a machine raise my kid. You're not real. What was I thinking?
You do not mean that. It is me. I'm Fiona.
Stop talking like her. You're not her. I never want to hear or even think about you ever again. Ever!
It's interesting because it's in much the same way that many parents will just throw an iPad in front of their kids' faces and call that parenting. Kind of raising their kids with machines or letting a machine... Ah, here we go. This looks promising. This looks like an actual room where you put things. Oh, is that... Okay, it's not 6 individual audio logs. It's you need all 6 pieces in order to play one audio log. I see. Okay. Well, at least now we know what we're doing. We actually know where we're going and where to put these things. Question is, does it save? Alright, I didn't look. Did it actually save the game when I put this in here? Okay, it did. Okay. It does save the game when you put them in here. It just doesn't save them when you get back into the room, which I guess makes sense, because this is the room what you're supposed to get them to, so there's no real point in saving them when you get down there. So, I guess that makes sense. Okay, so this shouldn't be too bad, actually. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure most of them are up here, right? There's one downstairs, I know that for sure. But there's still at least one other... I think 2 other secret doors up here. There's one over... Shit. Uh-oh. Let's hope Big Boy didn't hear that. Did he hear it? Oh, what? Oh. Clearly he heard it. We'll do the one downstairs first. And then we'll make our way back up there, and then we can stay up there. Oh my god. Okay. Clearly the bait didn't work the way I thought it was going to. He either went up there and came right back down, or just did not care at all about the chains I rattled. Oh my... Well, this is gonna be an interesting situation. How are we gonna get out of this one? I guess we just wait? Not really much else I can do. I just gotta wait. Is he gone? I think he's gone. Okay. Well, that worked. It's really hard to it was a lot easier to kind of tell where he was in VR. In flat screen mode, I kind of only have the perpetual vibration of my control because he's always. Thing is, he's always. The footsteps are equally as intense no matter where in the building he is, or no matter where in the building you are relative to where he is. So, it's kind of useless as a metric through which to determine his position. Like, if judging... Okay. I guess he was... I didn't see him down the hall, but I guess he was there. It's kind of useless as a metric to determine where exactly he is in the building, because it's equally as intense no matter where he is. But, doesn't matter to me, because this can be very easily cheese. I just gotta, because he's downstairs, and I have no reason to ever go downstairs again. Assuming I don't need to do any of the film reel stuff, which I'm guessing I probably don't.
You can't put it off any longer. You need to try again. Build another.
That's it? Alright. Have to be a little more to it than that. Although I don't know that I really need any more audio. I was gonna piece together what's going on here. As far as what Fiona's asking for, she clearly wants Edwin to build another mimic that can then become or mimic David and fulfill that role. Because as far as she's concerned, a robot is no different than a human because she is a robot and so she thinks she's on the same level. But now Edwin, through Fiona, has seen the error of his ways. Unfortunately, it kind of makes it a tragic tale that he did develop as a character. He realized that you cannot replace humanity with a robot no matter how hard you try. But he realized it too late and it ultimately cost him in the end. But I guess we'll see what the... Oh, doesn't actually... Oh, I thought we were getting these logs to play a thing, not to open a door. But I'm guessing this is going to lead us behind the barricaded door, which I think we can safely conclude by now is probably David's room, because once David died, Edwin didn't want to think about him again, which is why he didn't want to build another... Okay, I had a moment there. I had a moment there when I saw this closet and I was like, wait a minute. Because this looks... Well, I mean, it doesn't. That closet looks eerily similar. And in fact, this... No, this is definitely... Okay, that's kind of freaky, actually. Because... Like, the, something No, yeah, it totally is. The fucking robots... Oh, but... That's fascinating. So... I observed pretty early on that the image of the house on top of the hill that was Edwin's mansion was pretty clearly reminiscent of the image of the FNAF 4 house on top of it. Like, that's one of the most iconic images in the franchise, is that house on top of the hill with the one little window light on. But it obviously couldn't have been the same house because one's Edwin's mansion and one's the Afton household. But now I'm thinking maybe they are the same household because, like, obviously the room layout is different from what we saw in FNAF 4. But also, my understanding of the FNAF 4 lore is so far disconnected from, like, I feel like so many other things happened in the development of the community's understanding of that game's lore, as far as illusion discs and the sister location secret rooms that Afton's using to spy on Michael or whatever. But I don't know what the up-to-date lore is, but my current thought process here is that, especially given that we know that William Afton, or at least I don't know this, but I assume that the spy, the mole that was leaking information to Fazbear Entertainment, I assume that was William Afton. It could be Henry as well, actually, because there was an audio log where Edwin was talking about Henry making choices, or he said Hen, but it was clearly an abbreviation for Henry, making choices he didn't really understand, like, why are we doing this, and so maybe he was in on it too. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was... But my point is, if William Afton was involved in any way with the leaking of information, which I assume he most certainly was, given that he was the one who allegedly created the animatronics in the first place, then I wonder how much of a stretch it is to say that maybe he would then also, if he took Fiona's designs for the original animatronics, maybe he also then took the house that they all lived in. Right? I feel like that makes sense. I mean, clearly, they didn't do this by accident, right? They didn't make this closet. I like how I came out of the vent, I saw just this closet, because this image, this is another iconic image, just this image of the door specifically left open ajar in that exact manner, on top of the dresser, and the fan, and the little green pull string toy, and the purple robot is like, the bed's in a different place, there should be 2 doors here, but then again, if that whole thing was supposed to, like, I don't know to what extent FNAF 4, like, we've always assumed for a while that FNAF 4's actual gameplay was some form of either a nightmare sequence or hallucinogenic whatever, but I guess my question would be, to what extent was it just the animatronics that were imaginary, or was the geography of the room also fabricated to some degree by the illusion disc? Because that would explain the discrepancy in geography between these rooms. Or maybe it could just be that they kept the furniture in the closet and all that stuff, or the closet doors at least, but they renovated the interior. I don't know. Some FNAF lore aficionado, you gotta catch me up in the comments as to what the up-to-date lore is of FNAF 4 and all that stuff. But that's where my brain goes. And yeah, that's interesting. And even this is kind of interesting. Because it's, So obviously we have Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, and then the dog, which, there was that one, like, rumored scrapped character from the first game, which was the dog, which is why the Bub costume was one of the Springlock suits, just kind of an homage to that, an Easter egg to it. But they might have worked that into the lore, because we know that Chica was her own thing, right? Chica was doing Chica's Party World thing, and then she became a part of... She was the new recruit for the core Fazbear gang, which might explain why 3 of these are the same, but then one of them is different from what we would expect. That's fascinating. That's so fascinating. And then this is David with mimicked Fiona, I assume. Huh. Okay, well... Oh, wait. Are we finally gonna answer the question of what's in the box? Well, hold on, let me look up an image of, because I'm pretty sure I remember what the box looks like, but just to make sure my memory isn't failing me. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but I feel like the similarities in color and design are too blatant not to be intentional, right? Because you have the dots going down the lines here. You have a brownish, goldish, grayish aesthetic. That's gotta be intentional. There's no way that's a coincidence. Are we finally gonna learn? Because up until this point, I thought that the meaning of the box had been because I mean, what was originally inside the box is obviously not what is currently in the box. Scott himself admitted to changing the contents of the box a lot over the course of the development of the games. But my current understanding as to what the box was supposed to mean now is that it was metaphorically represented by the box in which all the animatronics were trapped in Pizzeria Simulator. But, I mean, that could have changed, I don't know. So I guess my question is, are we going to learn what's in the box? In fact... you know what? Maybe it makes even more sense than we think, because hold on, I think I might be onto something. Okay, so what was said when we first saw the box at the end of FNAF 4 was perhaps some things are best left forgotten, right? That was the line that drove the fandom nuts for 4 years straight, or however long, whatever. If it's true that this house becomes the Afton house, which I feel like at this point is all but confirmed from what I'm seeing in this room, and if it's true that what's in the box, because we saw during the Moon.exe stuff, that like we saw what we put in the box. We put things, this box could either contain all the things we put in there, or it could just be one of the 3 boxes. Either way, it either has David's ball, David's blocks, or David's favorite toy, the tiger plush. Or it could be all 3 of those things. Either way, it's supposed to represent, like, these are the things that the previous owner held. So maybe that's William Afton being like, perhaps some things are best left forgotten, as in we're not gonna remember what happened to this family and this house, because this is our house now, we don't need to. Because, like, the whole thing is he stole their livelihood, essentially. He stole their designs. Then he wouldn't want people to, he'd want to cover that up, right? Ooh, that's freaky. But I kind of love it. Assuming that's correct, which, I mean, you know, fuck if I know, right? I'm so out of the loop on FNAF lore that for all I know, I could be talking right out my asshole. I mean, this game's been out for almost a year. I'm sure everyone is sick of theorizing about this game. I'm sure by this point everyone's already cracked the code. And especially because I feel like I almost wonder if this game is too casual friendly, because like as I've been saying throughout the whole game thus far, I don't know anything about FNAF lore, at least not up to date FNAF lore. I was really into it when the games were first coming out, when I was in middle school and high school from 2014 to 2018 and 2019. Help Wanted was when I first started to really fall off the wagon for FNAF lore, keeping up to date on everything. Because Glitch Trap that was when I was like, I don't know, I think I'm starting to lose it a little bit. And I still had a passing interest in reading the Fazbear Frights books, but not to seriously think about how it all tied together. But then Security Breach was the death knell. That was the point of no return, as far as like, okay, you've actually killed it now. Now I'm completely off the train. So a lot of the developments of the Mimic and Edwin and all the stuff that I'm sure they went into exhaustive detail about in the books is kind of lost on me. So I do wonder if a criticism that could be made of this game is that it is too friendly to beginners. It's too friendly to people who aren't that invested in the lore. Because my belief when it comes to this stuff is that you should design a story such that you can understand the basic A to B to C of everything without consuming any expanded universe material. But that if you have consumed that expanded universe material, you'll be rewarded in a unique way that makes you feel special, that you're in on the loop, but not without making anyone feel like they're out of the loop, which is a really tough balance to strike. And I guess I'm not the best person to judge how well this game achieves that, but like the way you can go too far with that is that if you make everything so friendly to casuals that the diehard lore keepers have nothing to pick up on for themselves. I don't know how people in the community feel. I don't know if they feel that way about this game, but at least from my perspective, I'm very happy with this. This is really interesting. Because we already knew William Afton was a gigantic piece of shit, but, like, I mean, obviously, right? This is the fucking duh. But to then go a step further and make him be like, hey, not only did I kill all these children, but also I kind of stole, like, my entire life's work from minute 1 was all, like, there was never a point where he became awful. He was just always awful from minute 1. The box is so fascinating, though. I wonder if we're gonna actually open it, or if we're just gonna, like, if it's just here to anyway, what's this? These are, assume, Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, Monty for some reason. Why is Monty here? That's the, like, I get the dog is a reference to the missing animatronic from the first game, but why is of all characters, why is Monty here from the, I don't know, so what's the deal with this? Oh, are we inputting a code? Dog, Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy. No? Do I need to put... Oh, wait. Do I... Okay, so the other thing about this whole secret ending thing is that you can get 24 of the 25 collectibles in the main game, but you have to wait until New Game Plus mode to get the final collectible. And the final collectible is the White Tiger plush, which, I mean, I just had a whole diatribe about how I'm pretty sure the White Tiger plush is what's in that box, or at least one of the things in that box. So I wonder if we need the white tiger in order to activate whatever. Let's see. Let's see if my theory is correct. Boop.
Welcome to bedtime. Would you like a story to help you sleep?
Hold on. Someone's missing. David? Where's David? Come out, wherever you are. There you are.
Do you remember how our story begins? Once upon a time.
No, that was... God, you don't know how much I fucking hate playing this game with a controller. Well, in any case, at least it's obvious why that's there now. Fiona wanted Edwin to create another version of, another mimic to replace or Fiona's mimic. Mimic 1 wanted Edwin to create another mimic to mimic David. This is gonna stop sounding like a real word by the time we're done here. So Mimic 1 was always Fiona, but then Mimic 2 started out trying to be David, but then became Edwin. Like, the more Edwin became frustrated, the more of his abusive, or I guess neglectful tendencies rubbed off on the second Mimic, and then the Mimic became, the Mimic was designed to be David, but then ended up mimicking Edwin, so it's like both of their angry personalities fused into one. So I assume this bedtime story thing is we're trying to, like...
Would you like a story?
Because if Fiona wants us to put everything back together, I assume we're just trying to get that original core of who David was back out of him again. Because his eyes color is changing, right?
Wherever you are.
So I assume this is like David's true personality and Edwin's rage and anger kind of clashing together with each other. Once upon a time there was a dog.
That's right. A pesky puppy played fetch by itself on the beach. Isn't that nice? So, what happens next?
Bonnie.
That's right. A bunny hopped over and offered to play cards. They had so much fun. Do you remember what happens next?
A little delayed there, game.
That's right. A roly-poly bear joined the others and offered his honey, but then he spilled it all over them. Oh no. Oh no. What did they do?
That's right. The fox saw everyone arguing. The group yelled and gnashed their teeth, and it scared the fox and he ran away.
This shocked all the friends, and they realized that anger didn't solve anything. They all started a band and lived happily ever after. The end.
Did they now? Did they now?
The moral of the story is that friendship is the real treasure. Now it's time for bed. Your parents love you. Sleep tight.
I'm gonna need a minute with that. That was... Broski? Scotty boy, we need to have a chat, Scott. How the fuck can you, within what I assume is a matter of months from each other, write something as beautiful and emotionally meaningful as this game, and specifically that ending, and then in the same breath, write the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. How do you do that? What's wrong with you? Why? How? The duality of man represented by the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. I refuse to believe that Scott Cawthon was responsible for writing this and the second FNAF movie. There's no way. Okay. So, obviously, the whole thing I was talking about before with the idea of replacing your real life relatives that have passed on to another life with robots and AI, that clearly is a part of this game. Draw my controller. It's a little more complicated, specifically in the FNAF universe, because obviously we know that in this world, the souls of dead children, the souls of those who have passed on, can actually inhabit robots, so it's not exactly a one-to-one parallel, but the point still stands as far as, like, the message they're trying to get across there. But so what I find so interesting about that, apart from just, like, the obvious emotional satisfaction of, because that really is what we were doing. The whole thing with the Moon.exe game was literally, like, putting the pieces back together so that David could pass on, right? To move on to like, whatever the case may be. I mean, that's why we were putting the statue back together in the cave. The whole thing was, like, we were reprogramming the second mimic to be what he was originally supposed to be, as, like, a vessel for David's soul. Because, I mean, this is all contingent, I assume, on remnant shit, which I never learned what remnant was supposed to be. I never caught on to that. That was a bridge too far for my tastes as far as how the lore was playing out. But that's what makes. But honestly, it's not even about that, because, like I said, it's a little fuzzy when you try to reconcile that with what the game was trying to say about how you can't really replace humans with robots, because you have to take into account the broader FNAF universe, and that in this world, robots are actually inhibited by the souls of humans. But putting that aside, what I find especially meaningful about that is just the idea that we already knew that Fiona was the real original creator of the core Five Nights at Freddy's cast. We've known that since the good ending, the parachute ending. We've known that for a bit. But what we didn't know was why that was the case. And the idea of the entire Five Nights at Freddy's story being spurred on from just like a bedtime story that Edwin and Fiona would read to their kid. That is so beautiful. And I totally understand, by the way. I now have a perfect understanding of why people said that I would either love this game or hate it, because I completely understand how people arrived at those two conclusions. Because on the one hand, it has all the textbook markings of, like, retcons galore, right? Because obviously none of this was a thing. Well, when Scott designed FNAF 1 in 2014, this was not a thing, right? Like, obviously none of this was ever. There was no Mimic, there was no Edwin, there was no David, there was no Fiona, obviously. And I am very hesitant when it comes to sequels to beloved IPs trying to retroactively force continuity in where it obviously didn't belong, doesn't fit, and just doesn't work. I'm very sensitive to that stuff. But it's not a black and white thing. It's not like, retcons are not automatically a bad thing. It depends on how you do them. So, like, I understand why people might think, oh, this totally changes your understanding of the FNAF universe. It changes everything you thought was true. It retcons everything you're gonna hate. I get it from that perspective. But the way they do it here is so beautiful, because it doesn't really, like, it changes what we understood, but it doesn't make it, it doesn't contradict it. It doesn't make it worse, right? Like, there was nothing that would contradict our understanding. Nothing about this is contradictory to what we assumed to be true before, in the sense that, well, it's contradictory in the sense that we didn't know it was the case, but not in the sense that it couldn't possibly have been the case, right? If that makes sense. Like, there's a difference between adding context to something and changing context to something. This doesn't change context as much as it adds context, if that makes any sense at all. And really, it just strengthens what we already assumed to be the case, because we already knew William Afton was horrible, but the idea of him stealing not only the designs of the original animatronics, but the house they all lived in, but not only that, but also twisting what was originally a heartfelt, personal bedtime story that parents would read to their kid, to their son, and then turning that into just a corporate money-making machine for Fazbear Entertainment. That's so haunting, but so in character, not just for Fazbear Entertainment, but for William Afton, and also has applications for the broader world around us that we live in, even beyond the scope of this game. That's so good. That is so good. And the title is even more fitting now. Like, what is the secret of the mimic? Well, we know now what the secret of the mimic was. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And it's even in keeping with the broader themes of the franchise, because if the whole idea behind, and again, my understanding of Remnant is very light, but the little I do know about it is, like, I think the whole idea is the reason William Afton was going on this murderous spree was because he lost his son to a tragic accident with one of the animatronics he designed, and rather than processing those emotions in a healthy, constructive manner, he just resorted to murderous violence. He just became this dark, twisted, horrifying serial killer, and tried to, like, channel somehow that led to the souls of the kids, and the remnant of that was then he was literally trying to put the pieces back together to revive his son. But then you have Edwin, who, instead of doing any of that, he found another artificial means through which to replace the family that he lost, replacing his wife, replacing his son. But I guess the difference is that he eventually realized what he was doing was wrong and tried to fix things, but by the time he did, it was too late, and he had already become a victim to his own machinations. And also, obviously, the difference is that he wasn't murdering 8 billion children. But there are interesting parallels there, and it does kind of tie into the themes of the franchise as far as, like, the whole story of FNAF starts with someone's inability to process grief and how that then impacted the business and the people around him and his family and all these other innocent souls. And it's kind of the same thing with Edwin as far as his inability to process the grief of losing Fiona in the Fall Fest and losing his son. That's so good. That is like I was not expecting a story that interesting and that emotional and that profound to come out of this. You know, it's not like I'm crying over this game or anything. I'm not like that moved by it, but more just from like not from an outsider looking at it. I guess just from the perspective of someone who, you know, cares about this franchise. I'm pleasantly surprised by how much value they were able to extrapolate out of this. Because even with the peaks of the franchise that I had experienced until this point, I wasn't expecting them to go in this direction. Especially because usually when you try to go far back into the past and try to add a bunch of context in a prequel, it's a risky move as far as changing people's understanding of the events in the world up until this point. But this is like the textbook example of how to do that. As long as you only talk about the story and don't talk about literally anything else. Because, yeah, I mean, I already went on a rant at the beginning of the video about how much I'm kind of fed up with the gameplay. I don't want to play this game again. I don't ever want to play this game again. I'm completely over the game's mechanics. Be it in VR mode or in flat screen mode, they both have their ups, they both have their downs, they both have problems that make me never want to touch this again. But the story and the world building and the lore and the design and the atmosphere, all that stuff is top notch. And well, okay, in fairness, the third act is solid. The third act of this game is really solid, especially the role reversal of the inverse of FNAF 1. That was absolutely phenomenal. That's exactly what I would have wanted to see out of this kind of thing, and they did not fail to deliver. This game is, for as much as I am tired of dealing with the game's mechanics, that might also just be because I played the game back-to-back 2 times in a row. But, like, removing my personal grievances aside, this is nowhere near as bad as Security Breach, right? It's, like, not even, this is a competently made game for the most part, barring all of the glitches I encountered. The core design of this game is solid. This is everything Security Breach was supposed to be and should have been. And, you know, the stealth sections kind of wear me down a little bit, but when it does dive into the horror territory, it's pretty strong. Like, actually seeing the human bodies around the pizzeria. We'd only seen that really in Sister Location. Even then, it was kind of from afar. But seeing the bodies up close and personal, I was not expecting. That is, like, so dark. And at its core, it is still, I'd say it's more in keeping with the identity of Five Nights at Freddy's and Security Breach was, because of what I talked about towards the beginning of the series, where it plays into the idea of you're somewhere you aren't supposed to be, and you're seeing all these inanimate corpses, or the inanimate puppets and costumes and exoskeletons around, and then just the idea that any of them could come to life at any moment, and there's no real consistency to which one it is, or when it happens, or where it happens. That's all really, really good. There is a lot of good in this game, and I do have a lot of points of praise. It's just, yeah, I'm kind of sick of fumbling with the power generator mechanics. I'm sick of things bugging out. I'm sick of redoing extensive sections because of poor checkpoints. I'm sick of all the VR bugs. I don't really care much for the chase sequences either, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think I've said enough. I think I've covered my thoughts on this game pretty extensively. The key takeaway here is the story is incredible. And this is also why I simply refuse to accept when anyone tells me that it's okay the Five Nights at Freddy's movies are terrible, because the games have never told good stories, and they can't tell good stories, so neither should the movies. Even ignoring how just patently stupid that is at face value. Just look at this game. I don't know that you could take this story and turn it into a movie one-to-one, because you need to flesh things out a lot more, but for the medium of a video game, and in the context of the series, it's pretty good stuff. And I simply don't accept that this idea that the FNAF movies just have to be terrible. I don't know why I don't know why it's ever been acceptable to say that, because they're never gonna learn. They're never, as long as people keep telling them it's okay that your movies are shit, because it's got fan service and people like this stuff. People like, oh, we don't care about writing or consistency or characters. We just want to see the animatronics do stuff. Even though in the case of FNAF 2, if you want to see that, sucks to be you, because the Wizard and animatronics get, I think, 2 whole minutes of screen time. That's cool. That's fun. Like that a whole lot. Anyway, point is, this game's story is actually pretty good. I liked it a lot. And the FNAF movies fucking suck ass. And I hate them with a passion. And I'm sure the third movie is gonna suck too. Because the chance they had to improve was the second one. Because Scott said they were paying attention, they were gonna learn from their mistakes. And then they didn't do either of those things for the second movie. So I don't know why. In fact, they actually doubled down on all the problems with the first movie and just made everything a million times worse. So I don't know why anyone would ever expect it to be different for the third movie. But that's a problem for the future. In conclusion, Secret of the Mimic, pretty good game. See, because unlike the movies, it's clear that Sealwell was listening to the feedback from Security Breach, and they definitely made decided improvements on how the game is designed, rather than just making this ginormous pizzaplex that's as big as an ocean and shallow as a puddle, with extended sequences of just walking across empty atriums to get from one place to another. This place felt a lot more manageable as far as how to navigate and explore it. It was more about crisscrossing a small area, like new areas, in a small location that felt bigger because new sections would become unlocked with each new permission you got, that kind of a thing. As opposed to just, look at how enormous the pizzaplex is, isn't it so cool? I really shouldn't be doing that, because I'm kind of coming down with something, so I really shouldn't be stressing my voice out like that. But, guess the point across, I guess. I think I've said all I had to say. Thank you for watching my playthrough of Secret of the Mimic. I hope it was everything you wanted it to be, because I know people have been asking me to play this game since it came out. I hope it was everything you ever wanted it to be. I am not disappointed by my experience with this game. I'm happy I played it in VR. I'm happy I tried it in flat screen mode. And I'm happy I never have to play it again. Which I guess is a pretty succinct summary of my experience with Secret of the Mimic. Okay, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. And I hope to catch you all sometime soon for whatever it is you decide to watch next. Goodbye.